Hi there, my name is Daniel Scott and I'm an Adobe certified instructor for Photoshop. Now, I've been a freelancer all around lots of places, and I know that working in big agencies and at large companies at their internal marketing departments, it's as important to do beautiful work as it is to do it fast and on brand guidelines. Now, if that sort of stuff sounds like you, this course is for you. All right, so what are we gonna do in this course? Now, we're gonna work through a larger project that kind of has lots of different touch points, right? So lots of different sizes and formats and ratios. You're probably at work thinking, you've got projects that touch things like print, web, UI, social, you end up doing banner ads. There's lots of different kind of touch points all over the place. And this course is about kind of doing those things and keeping consistency across them all and working fast, productivity, speed, all the adjectives, but you get what I mean, right? So this is all about going fast, professional. That's what this course is about. So who is this course for? It is for you, my friend. As long as you have some basic Photoshop skills. You don't need much. Just if you understand how layers work, then you'll be fine for this course. I'm taking you from down here to the dizzying heights of productivity over here. Okay, so if you're the kind of person who's doing stuff and you're like, I know there's a faster way, or you have the best intentions for upgrading to the new features in the new versions of Photoshop, but never get around to it, I'm your man. This course is for you, and I'll see you in there. All right, so you're in. First thing you need to do is download the exercise files. Okay, there'll be a link on this page. Download them. Within those exercise files, I've given you a little workbook, okay, a little PDF that you can print off throughout the course. That's what this shape is. I'm not sure why I'm drawing it in the air, but it's a workbook, okay? Print it off. If you're a note taker, you can keep the notes right on them, okay? It's in the exercise files. You'll see it in there. The other thing we need to do is we need to reset our workspace. So we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna dive into the computer. I'll see you in there. All right, so I've opened up Photoshop and we're going to reset our workspace so that yours looks like mine. Let's just open up a file though to get started. Go to File, go to Open, and you end up at Cloud Documents potentially. Depends on if you've been using this before or not. You're gonna go to the My Computer, okay? Cloud Documents we'll talk about later on, but we want the stuff that's actually I've downloaded onto my computer. And I've put mine on my desktop. There's my folder that I've downloaded. And here we're gonna open up image 1 and just click open. Now, I've already reset my workspace, so yours might look like mine already. If yours doesn't though, or let's just do it all together so we're all looking the same. Let's go to Window, Workspace, make sure it says a little tick next to Essentials. If it's not, click it, and then come back into here and go to Reset Essentials. So it kind of just rejigs everything, gets it back to yours looking like mine. You might totally ignore that because you've got a sweet setup. That's okay. But that's it for this video, simple. We've got the files downloaded, there is a workbook in the exercise files, and we've reset our workspace. Where's the workbook? If you check out your files there's my exercise files, and that's this PDF in here. Open that up, print it off, and you can work through, take notes if you like. All right, that's it. Let's get on to the next video. Hi everyone, it's time to get our hands dirty using some productivity tools. We're going to disappear this stick, ready? Gone. Okay, nice and quick and easy. And if you're like, hey Dan, I know how to use Content Aware Fill. Oh, hang around, there's some updates. We're gonna use Object Select tool. It's kind of new, and we're gonna use the new updated features in Content Aware Fill too. So hang around, even if you think you can do it on your own. I bet you there'll be some time saving to be had. All right, let's get started. Okay, to get started, the Object Select tool is kind of grouped in this gang here. Okay, the old Magic Wand tool, I remember you so fondly. Quick Selection tool is pretty amazing, and this is a new option, Object Selection tool. Click on that, and all we need to do is click, hold, and drag a box roughly around the thing we want to select. And, ready, come on computer, spinning ball, and now mine works a little slowly because I've got the beta version, okay? There's just a few little things that get sped up when it's finalized, but pretty amazing, huh? It's gone through and selected our stick. And now if we wanted to just do a mask, I'm gonna click down the bottom here and just add a layer mask. You can see it's done a pretty sweet, quick job, right? I'm gonna go to Edit, Undo. But what I wanna do is, remember, I wanna remove the stick completely. And it does a better job if we expand that selection. So just do a real quick rough selection with the Object selection tool, and then just expand it out by going to select, go to modify, and go to this one that says expand. And this is going to expand our selection. By how much? You'll need to play around with it depending on your one. I've already practiced, okay, and it's 60 pixels, and we click OK, and it just kind of like jumps out of it. Now to remove it, we're going to use Edit Content Aware Fill. Okay, the Content Aware Fill option is kind of not that new. It's one version old, but it's actually been updated in here to do some nice stuff. So if you've used it before and you found it a little bit hard, what it does is, hey, first of all, holy moly, I missed that bit, like, it just disappeared. Hey, okay, it's pretty magic. Now, if yours doesn't do the magic, okay, you're using your own example, something else, over here, this is pretty interesting. So you've got two sides, right? You've got the before and after. The green stuff is what it's using to sample from. So it's saying, I'm going to use all of this stuff to try and mush out the stick. But it's also saying, I'm going to use this part of the bowl. And you can't really see it in there, but what you should do is click on minus and say, actually, don't use the bowl, silly Photoshop. Okay, and just go around and just remove the bits, and you'll find you get a lot better results on this side. Okay, same with this. I don't want any of that in there, and I'm gonna hit plus, and it's already good, so I'm just kind of messing around with it, just for instance. But you can go through and say all of this. It's really handy when it's kind of pulling out perspectives, and you're like, not that bit, but this bit. You can tell as a person the computer's trying to do its best, but. The other thing you can do if you're getting bad results, I'm counting that as a good result. What you can do is play around with color adaptation. Okay, go through and just play with these options, and it just, don't worry too much about what color adaptation is. Just think of them as option E, B, and C, and you just get very different results. You can see this very high here is not working for me in this instance. I wouldn't say very high doesn't work at all. Just every image and every selection is different. So play around with that. Then when you're finished, what we're going to do, output 2, we're going to go to duplicate layer, just so we've got a whole new layer with our little guy removed. Let's click on duplicate layer. Let's click OK down the bottom here. And we're going to go to select, deselect layers. That's not what I want. I'm just going to select, and let's just go to deselect selection, deselect layers, and clicks it down here. Anyway, what you'll notice is I can turn the eye on this one behind. And this top one on and off, it's magic. Turning on and off, you can kind of start to see some of the artifacts, but I promise, wow, I feel like that's like totally not viewable or seeable. Looks pretty amazing to me. So let's make sure this top one's on and it's selected. And I want you to do like a little shimmy, because that is pretty amazing. The select object tool, okay, I keep calling it the select object tool. It's called the object select tool, Dan, okay, and it's hidden in this little group. Is great for just picking out one little piece. Like, let's grab this. It's not perfect, but it gives you a really like pretty amazing first selection, right? So it's really good if there's like multiple things in a document that you only want one of them. There is a better option is if you've got just, say you want to select everything in the option, in the image. Okay, so let's deselect the option of select subject. It's been around a little while. This selects all the objects in it using a very similar technology. Okay, but that might be more useful for you. So select object is good when you want one part of a bigger group of people or objects. Okay, so that's super useful. Another thing you can do with the object selection tool is we've been using the rectangle option. There's a lasso option. So say there's something that's just a bit weirder, like you can't get a full square around it. I can get a square around all of this, but let's say you just click, hold, and drag around. And like Adobe said to me, you need to be about 20% kind of extra. I don't really know what that means. So just give it a good berth around the outside and it's pretty good. Don't try and get really close to it. All right, let's select, deselect, and move on to the next video. Hi everyone, this video we're going to magic up some more background around the edges because we need more space, especially as designers, creatives, to put things, okay, like text and logos and buy one, get one free offers. Often images can be cropped in beautifully by the photographer, okay, but often we need some extra bits. So we're gonna do some magic. Ready, steady, magicked up to a bit more background. Pretty believable, pretty nice. I'm gonna show you how far you can go before it goes very badly. I'd say there's not even there that badly, but we're gonna stick to like just little bits. You can get like an extra 20 to 50%, but not 1 zillion. All right, let's work out how to do that now in Photoshop. All right, to get started, let's zoom out a little bit. Command minus on a Mac or Control minus on a PC. Let's have a look at the crop tool. So I'm gonna grab the crop tool, and the magic's gonna happen is I wanna turn content aware on, and I wanna turn delete crop pixels off. So this is the main one that I want on, and you're like, it's grayed out, it's not working. I already started this video a second ago, and I'm like, I've worked it out. In the interim is you need to select on a layer. You need to say, this is the layer that I'm going to be magicking more background on. All right, so I've got it selected. I know it's because it's kind of a lighter gray, and now I can do this one. Okay, and nothing really happens. You just need to decide how big you want it. Now, this is where you've got to be patient. No, I can't even think of the word. Not too greedy. Because if I try and magic up this, we'll do it in a second, but the one I want is, I just want a bit more, right? Because we all run into those problems, right? When we're trying to like, we've got a nice cropped image from a photographer and you're like, no, I need lots of background to put like ads and logos and text and stuff. So this is what we can do. So drag it out from the edges, roughly like I've got, make sure that's on, and either hit return on your keyboard or enter, or hit this little ticky box. All right, ready? Steady, yours will be faster than mine, and cool, huh? If you're still copying and pasting and clone tool stamping, you will do probably a little happy jump flip thing. I'm happy every time I see it, and I teach it all the time. All right, I'm gonna turn it off just because next time I'm gonna use it, I probably just wanna crop it. What does it look like if I go full noise? I'll skip ahead. All right, here we go. And it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But that's not what we want. I'm gonna go back to my original one. All right, there we go. More manageable. That's gonna work for us because there's lots of area for extra stuff and things, and we removed our stick. All right, let's jump into the next video. One day they're going to invent a feature where you just click on something and say, remove the background, please. And it does a real good job. Oh my goodness, it's new for 2020 version of Photoshop. Remove background just does the job. It's quick, it's easy. There's a couple of steps you need to do because otherwise I'd be out of a job if they make this any easier. So let's jump in now and I'll show you how to do it. It's remove background time. All right, to get started, let's go to File. Let's go to Open and open up Image, Image 2. Cool, click Open. And we want to remove the background. So cool new feature in Photoshop 2020 or in the future. Okay, we're gonna use this feature called just remove the background. Okay, to make it work though, okay, it doesn't operate fine unless because it appears in this properties panel. So it doesn't work because the background is locked. It's always locked, weirdly. To rename it, okay, or to remove the lock, you just rename it. Double click background, call it anything you like. I'll call it my latte. Okay, and now if you scroll down in my properties panel, if you can't see properties, go to window, go to properties, make sure the tick's on, you should see it, and there's this magic one. Hold on, go away. That was quick and easy and good. It's not, we're not gonna zoom in real far. Well, let's zoom in, come on, Dan. But you can see, look at that edge. There's a little bit of stuff over here, but like, in terms of like, man, that's magic. Yours is probably gonna be better than mine. I'm using the beta copy of the software, and a couple of versions back, it was not good. And every time I get the new version or the new updates, it gets better and better. So good. Things have got too easy in Photoshop. You used to have to earn it. You used to have to spend ages using lasso tools and magic wand tools, plus minusing. You remember the days? I do anyway. All right, that was a short one. Good one. All right, let's get on to the next video. Hey there, this video is for people who have used CC libraries in the past and you're like, nah, they didn't work, they were more hassle than they're worth. My goal in this video, or one of my goals, is so that you leave going, actually, they're real useful and I'm gonna start using them thanks to Dan's video. Okay, because we're gonna go from like plain ordinary to, oh, look at that, the thing we used, and I'm pointing at the screen. You can't see me pointing, but there's a logo down the bottom there, and the image that we put in, and that font change, that's gonna be the big secret trick at the end. Consistency is what CC Libraries allows us to do, especially on big jobs, working in big companies, super handy. All right, let's get going. All right, first up, you need to make sure you can see your libraries panel. I can see mine. If you can't, go to Window, go to Libraries, and from the top here where it says, yours is probably set to My Libraries unless you've been using it. Okay, and you'll end up with, you probably only got my library. You might have all these other ones like me if you're a CC library fiend. Okay, what we want is right down the bottom here is to create a new library. And this one is going to be called productivity. Call yours what you want, click return, and you kind of see what it says to do. It says drag them over here. So what we can do is with our move tool, okay, so top left, grab the move tool, click, hold, drag, 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 let go. And over here, we've got our latte. It's got a name because we named it in our layers folder. If yours is called background copy, that's what it's going to be called over here. You can double click the word and just rename it. Okay, I'm happy with mine called latte. And that's our first library. Let's go to, you can also see down here, see this little swirly thing? It's because it is updating onto my cloud. Okay, that's why it's Creative Cloud Libraries. So it's uploading in the internet so that I've got a backup copy, kind of like Dropbox, but also so that I can use it between the different applications. So I'm gonna go back to my original one here. Remember we invented the new background, okay, and we removed the stick. I'm gonna grab my move tool, okay, click, hold, and drag this one. I'll do it a different way. You can click, hold, and drag it, or just hit this little plus. So click on the layer you want, click plus, and say, not the foreground color, I want the graphic. And hopefully, background copy will come over. I'm gonna name this one T, and hit return. Cool, got me some libraries. Okay, so we've got them in here. Why do we have them? Why do we want to use them? They're backing up online, which is handy. But what becomes really handy is when you start kind of using them across different Adobe products. So we're gonna use Adobe Illustrator. I've got open in the background here. Okay, so open up Illustrator and go to File, Open, and I've got a file for you to work with. So it's in your exercise files. There's one in there called menu.ai. Click Open. Now it might ask you to sync some fonts. Okay, click on Sync. It doesn't really matter this whole thing if they don't sync properly, but if you can do it, it'll say, hey, these fonts are missing, what would you like to do? And hopefully you can click on sync and they just magically, if I've done my job right, they should appear like this. If they kind of got a red box around them, it means my job is done badly and they're the wrong fonts. And in that case, just pick your own fonts. Just go through and switch them out and replace them. So where this becomes super handy is I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Remember Command minus on a Mac, Control minus on a PC. Let's find our libraries panel. Mine's over here. If you can't see yours, go to Window and make sure you turn libraries on. And then from the drop down here, okay, we're going to go down and find productivity. There he is. And there's my guys. And I want to edit, so I'm going to click, hold, and drag it across and click once. It's very big, so I'm going to undo. I'm going to drag it across and I'm going to drag it out. It's just a different way. Click it once, goes in full size. Clicking and dragging will make it a specific size. It doesn't really matter. All I want you to do is kind of put it in here, down here a little bit. Okay, so that's why libraries are good. You can drag them into from Photoshop into the library and then out of any Adobe program. So After Effects, Premiere, InDesign, whatever you're using, libraries connect to. XD, they've all got libraries connected. Great for reusable objects. It gets better as we go along too. Now, it's not a one-way street. You don't have to drag out from Photoshop into Illustrator. You can go back the other way. So I've got this logo here. Okay, it's in the kind of top right. It is, I was going to click it with my black arrow. Click, hold, drag, 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 and hover above. And you can see there's my logo slate. Okay, and I've got a logo down here, my vanilla one. Click, hold, and drag that into it. There you go. You'd be like, how did it get its name? I named my layers, which nobody does for this tutorial to make it look good. Basically in your layers panel here, you can find the graphic, okay, under elements, and you can see there it is there. Okay, yours is probably going to be called group or some bad name. Let's say it's this thing. Double click it and you can name it something good. And then when you drag it in, it'll bring the name. But you don't have to. Nobody does. Just me in this tutorial. All right, so I've got my logos in here. Other things that I want are colors, because often we'll have brand colors in some other program. Say we've got all our corporate colors laid out in a brochure, maybe even from somebody else in InDesign. Okay, it doesn't have to be Illustrator or Photoshop, anything you've got it in. Let's say it's this blue here, this slate color. I want to click on it with my black arrow, select it once, and then down here, because if I drag it in, it's going to drag like the rectangle. Can you see I've got this like artwork rectangle? It's not what I want. I'm going to hit the little trash button down the bottom. You can undo it. Interesting thing that comes up quite a bit where people using libraries are like, what happens if you delete one? There is, you can go into your libraries here and say, show me my undo somewhere. Where is it? there is view deleted items. I'm hovering right over it, Dan. There it is there. So if you do delete something or somebody else deletes it from your library that you share, don't worry, there's a backup of them. Okay, so we want that color, but not the graphic. So with it selected, we hit this little plus down the bottom here, and you can see, just give me the fill color, please. Awesome, eh? I named my color swatch. Yes, I did. Yours is probably going to be RGB and also random numbers. Let's click on this kind of vanilla box and go the same thing. Fill color, vanilla, slate. Awesome, huh? You can see why this is super awesome for like consistency across big jobs. You know, like how many times have I opened a document where it's kind of, is it the same green? You've named it differently and you're like, oh, are these connected? Or are they similar colors that are, you know, slightly different variations? Or at least you've got them in the library, you know, every time you drag it out, it's going to be the same color. Do the same things with fonts. This is probably the most handy. Say like this one here, this from Kyoto to Dublin. With it selected with my black arrow, same thing, if I drag it in, it's going to give me like a kind of group of letters. What I want is just the style from them. So I'm going to hit the little plus. I'm going to say, give me the character style, please. Okay, and I've got it there. You can see how useful this might be. You know, we're not doing InDesign or Illustrator, really. We're doing Photoshop, but I'm just kind of showing you the connection and how useful that would be with, say, especially something like InDesign, where you may be working on some longer documents. Cool, huh? All right, I'm going to name mine by double-clicking it, and this is going to be called my heading 1. Terrible name. For the brand called Dante. Very creatively named, Dan. I've got my character style, got some colors that all match, everything's going to work good, got some logos that are vector. So in there, let's look at applying them. And I'm going to try and impress you with like how to apply libraries. Because if you're one of those people who are like, yeah, I tried libraries a few years ago and they were more hassle than they're worth. Today's the day, okay? Well, as long as you watch this whole video course through, today's the day I'm going to convince you that libraries have real good uses, especially for big jobs or people working in bigger companies. All right, so let's make it happen. Let's jump back into Photoshop. Okay, and in Photoshop here, let's go to File, let's go to Open. And I've got a kind of partly made document called, what is it called? Facebook banner. Okay, open that one up. It might have some fonts that need to be synced as well. Either sync them or just make them myriad or pick any sort of font you like. So what we want to do is we want to start applying some of this goodness. You can see my library's all updated. Oh, very nice. It'll update on any machine that you've also got your Creative Cloud logged into. Okay, I think you're allowed 2 logged into 2 different machines. Definitely if you've got the iPad version of Photoshop now, it'll be updating on there. It's all very connected and cool. Let's implement some of this stuff. Let's do character style. So let's make sure we've got this layer selected here, from Kyoto to Japan. To Dublin even. Okay, with it selected, let's click on character style, just click on it once and ready, steady. It picked the right font, the right size, the right color. Oh, so good. Super big time saver. One of the things that doesn't work, that I ignore sometimes if I don't have time to explain it, we've got a video, we've got loads of time. You notice I didn't put the paragraph style in. Paragraph styles, say from Illustrator, will work between Illustrator and InDesign and anything else that's using paragraph styles. Photoshop doesn't work. Okay, you have to use character styles for it to go from, like, say, Illustrator to Photoshop. But if you are going from, say, Illustrator to InDesign or just between InDesign documents, character styles work perfectly. Can you see? I ignored that one. For good reason, because it doesn't work in Photoshop at the moment. You might want to check your version. Every time I do, I'm like, oh, I wonder if that's been fixed. Nope. Not at the moment. All right, let's do a couple more. Let's add the T image, grab it, drag it in. It's telling me stuff like this action creates smart objects that link between blah, 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 blah. You can read that. It just means they're connected. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. It gives you just a one-off. I need to turn that back off every time because I'm a trainer and I have to keep those around. All right, so drag that across. It's kind of put it in as a size. Kind of perfect, actually. Hit enter on my keyboard and I'm going to drag this to the bottom. So it's underneath everything. Nice. You can size it anything you like. It's probably a little weird. Anyway, that looks good. Next thing I want to do is I want to add the logo. So I'm going to grab the vanilla version of the logo. Okay, click, hold, drag it across. Yes. Click OK. I'm going to resize this one. Don't hold shift. Just drag any of the corners. When you get it to where you want, hit return. I'm not too worried about I'm not too worried about its size at the moment. Just kind of get it down here. Nice. You'll notice I don't like auto select. That's just a personal preference. Leave yours on. Not going to change this course. All right, so the powers of the library. We were able to, I should have done the other way around because the font was the most exciting bit, right? Dragging the image in, yeah. The logo, oh cool, it's vector, scalable. But the font, where it just picked the right size and the right color, that's some real time saving. And man, for consistency across big documents, that is a real good time saver. I've said that already, but you get the idea. All right, if you are not sold on CC libraries still, I promise later on in the course, I'm gonna get back into it and it's gonna get even better. Promise. All right, next video. Hey there, in this video, it's tips and tricks with artboards. I'm gonna make you a pro. I'm gonna make you not be as frustrated as you have in the past with artboards. They're real good, I love them. You're gonna love them too with these simple tricks and tips. I can't really demo them here without actually showing you the tricks and tips, but trust me, watch the video, they're good. All right, let's do it. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to convert this to an artboard. Now, an artboard is just multiple pages within a document, because what we want to do is transfer this to a bigger document that I'm creating that has lots of different artboards or lots of different pages, depending on how you want to refer to them. Okay, so first of all, we need to convert it to an artboard. And that's a weird thing, because at the moment, it's just a pile of layers in a Photoshop document. But we want to kind of group them together in this artboard. To do it, you go to Layer, New, and you go to Artboard. It's in a strange place. So screenshot that, check it out in your notes, scribble around it. Okay, and I am now an artboard. Now I'm going to call my artboard Facebook. You should copy me if you're following along. Facebook Banner A. Okay, and it's going to be the same size as that it is at the moment. It's 2000 pixels wide. Click OK. And nothing really changes except the name appears at the top. You can also see the layer structure changes. Okay, there's this new thing here. It's kind of like a layer, but it's actually a group. You can see all of these guys are indented. You can use the little chevron arrow thing there to kind of show you that they're all inside of that. So that's how you make an artboard. What I'd like to do is transfer this to another document that I'm working on that has lots of like combining artboards. Now, before I open it up, I want to close down these other things I've been working on. So this is a new feature, weirdly, and I love it. Under File, there's one called Close Others. It just means close everything but this one that I've got in front of me. Okay, and yours might ask you to save, and you can say yes or no. It's just a tutorial, I guess, if you want to keep them, say yes and put them somewhere, and maybe in your documents, but we won't need them again in this course, so you can say no. All right, so I've got this guy. I've closed everything out using my sweet new Photoshop 2020 feature. Now what I want to do is open up my other document that has got some extra pages in it. Okay, file open. We're going to open this one called social media. So I've started making a document. Okay, it has a few Instagram posts, and you can kind of get a sense for what we're doing here. We're trying to do bigger documents. I've kept it small enough so that we can handle it together in this class, keep everybody going. But you can imagine if you're doing social media banners or ad banners, you can end up with like hundreds of variants of these things. So artboards are super helpful because they're all separate documents, okay, all exportable separately, but they're all in the same thing. So you can see some visual consistency. You can copy images from one artboard to another. What we want to do now is work out how to get this one to this one. The first thing you need to do is convert it to an artboard, which we just did. Next way of doing it is, it's up to you. Everyone's got their own technique. Probably everyone's going to do this way, is you grab the name, click, hold, drag, 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 hover above this for some random amount of time, and then kind of keep holding the mouse down, let go, and then get it in line by grabbing the name again, kind of getting it down there, and you'd be like, yep, is there another way? There is. Okay. Do I prefer that way? I do half and half. I don't know why. But anyway, let's say that you want another way, because that way is weird. It is. It's the way we all do it. But over here, just right click Facebook banner and go to duplicate. The good thing about this is you can say, I would like it to go to, the destination is, because I've got this other file open. Okay, there it is, the social media tab there. I can say, actually put it in that one for me. Where? Just stick in the canvas. It's going to randomly try and put it somewhere, but that's okay. Let's go check it out. And randomly over there. Here we go, and I'm going to drag the name. Up to you. You can do the drag, drag, drag method or the duplicate method. All right, so I've got them all together. Now I want to show you some tricks of just making artboards better to work with, because they can be tricky, right? So one of the easiest ones that I use the most is, see these little chevrons? Because you can see the dark boxes here are the artboards. So I've named them all nicely. Okay, but if you want to kind of they're a little bit hard to work with, and this one's not too big, but it's big enough, right? It's confusing. What you can do is, instead of closing them down individually, okay, what you can do is just hold down the Command key on a Mac or Control key on a PC, and they all fly together. So hold Control down on a PC, click them, they all open, all closed. It's Command, and just click it once on a Mac, does the same thing. Cool, huh? One of the other really nice ways of working is up here. There's this filters option. This thing here, you've never clicked on, right? You have no idea what these all do. These are super helpful. Change it from kind to artboard. Okay, and what it's going to do is, depending on what you've got clicked, so I'm going to click on this T image here, and you'll notice, click on it, okay, you'll notice it jumped to the Instagram post A, which is the name of this artboard. Okay, if I click on this Instagram post B and I click on the black box, can you see it jumps to that one? So it just keeps your layers panel even really manageable, okay, by just switching it from kind to artboard. And it just doesn't matter where you are, it just automatically jumps across. Okay, if you click on it, all the different ones. Handy, huh? Now, one thing with it though, it can confuse you if you're like, where did everything go? Just when you're finished with some of these filters, I'm gonna go back to kind for the moment, just to help this tutorial run. Okay, but another really helpful trick when using artboards is the auto nest. So we've all probably done this, right? Where we've grabbed something, you're like, I just wanna move it over here a little bit, just a little bit, a little bit. And it's jumped out, and it's, who knows where it's ended up. Oh, it's ended up back in there, but it's ended up over here now and over here. You've all done it, right? And you're like, I just want it a little bit to the edge, and it flies all over the place. So how do you get around that? I'm gonna undo it. Okay, what you can do, you can say, all right, Instagram post A, there he is there. Okay, T, okay, I would like you, I'm gonna click on this little icon here. Okay, it's called auto nesting. It's got a big long name, but it just says, I prevent auto nesting. Okay, it's by default, it tries to move around, which is quite cool. But a lot of the time you're like, just stay where you are, please. So if I click on that, nothing really changes except that looks, I want to say depressed. It's a button pushed down, but he's not that sad. The little lock icon appears here, but it's not actually locked. Well, look, it still moves around, but look what happens. I can grab it and just go, actually, you can go anywhere you like. Okay, well, anywhere you like, you can go down here. It's still on that artboard though, which is really handy if you just want to use like the slither of things, you know. Anyway, I find that useful. You can do it for the whole artboard. Okay, you can say all of these guys don't move off. Okay, I've just done one. Last trick for making artboards more livable, okay, is, let's say I need a new one. Let's say I've kind of got this one to a good point and I want another one kind of similar to it. You can use the artboard tool, right? And click on this guy and say plus, and you're like, oh, and then you got to copy all the bits across. It doesn't work. If I undo that, if you hold down the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC and click the same button, plus, look, duplicates it, brings all these buddies along. Yeah, I'm not sure why we need all these, but you get the idea. Hold down Option on a Mac, Alt on a PC, and it will duplicate it, plus bring all his buddies along. We don't need any of that. That's an undoable thing. I just wanted to show you it. And those are my tricks. Chevrons, hold Command or Control if you're Mac or PC. You can filter by going up to kind and select artboards, and it will only do the one you've selected. And you can click on things and say, actually, buddy, you do not auto nest. Just stay where you are. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna go back to kind, and I will see you in the next video. Hi there, hope you're enjoying the course. If you are liking it and you want to know more about Photoshop, you like my teaching style, I've got a couple of other courses that I want to show you some stuff in. So you can see here, I've got an Essentials and an Advanced course. It's not even that advanced, it's just, I don't know, what do you call it? Essentials, people don't want to do an intermediate course, so it's an advanced course. So even if you find yourself reasonably good at Photoshop, a lot of people find good value from the Essentials course, and then moving into the Advanced, it's up to you. The Essentials is like 8 hours, so it's a good long course, and the Advanced is about 13 hours because Photoshop's so broad. But yeah, if you like what you're seeing here, I'm just kind of fast forwarding the kind of stuff we do, so I can't really talk over it all. But yeah, that's the stuff. Go check it out if you like. I'll put a link in the description to both those courses. All right, back into the action. It's that way. Hey there, this video we're gonna show you the amazing powers of the library where everything's connected. It means I can go through, change my library item, bam, I'm gonna invert it, I'm gonna save it. Look over here, ready, steady, Yay, they all update where it's being used. I'm going to also show you how to break that if you don't like that feature. Plus we're going to tidy up the mask, do some selector masking. It's a good video, hang around. I bet you'll learn something to speed up your workflow in this one. All right, first up, we want to add some of our library items. So we've got this kind of T thing going on here, but we've got that latte. So it's kind of this group here. I want to add them to it. To add them, just click, hold, drag, 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 and pick an artboard. I'm going to start with this one here. It says yes. Oh, don't show again. I have to. Let's click OK. I can't live with that for this whole class. Don't worry about it. Just says it's going to convert it to smart objects and it's going to be connected to the library, which I'll explain. Okay, so don't hold shift, get it to a size you want, hit enter on your keyboard, kind of move it down here roughly. Same thing, I can move this one in. Okay, I'm going to drag it down to a more appropriate size. Now, don't hold shift, remember, because that's a new thing. If that's driving you bananas and you're like, man, I can't stop holding shift, just turn that off and it will remember forever. It's pretty cool. You used to have to go into preferences. You can still go in there, but now there's that easy one. Is turn that off and it will forever do the squishy thing without holding shift down. I'm going to turn mine back on, mainly because I need to be the same as the folks with the new versions. Okay. Oh, I got to lock it. So what do I want? I want it to be locked. Yeah. Cool. So get it to an appropriate size, hit return. Move him down there. Now you don't have to keep dragging it from this over. You can actually just duplicate it here. What I tend to do is hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and I'm on my latte layer. Okay, and I just drag it from this one to this one. This is the right size that I need it rather than have to resize it every time. Now they're all still connected to the library, and that's what we're going to do now is just show you how to update it and get it to connect to all of these things. So let's give it a go. Now to update this latte here, you can do one of two things. The easiest is just to double click it in the library. Okay, you can actually double click it in this, see this teeny tiny thumbnail here? Double click that or double click this. What's going to happen is it's going to open up in its own layer panel. Okay, it is, or tab even, it's not connected to that original. You know, we made this mask and then we dragged it into the library. It's its own like little fresh thing in the library. Okay, since I've dragged it out, they should all be connected, okay, to this guy. Okay, these guys are all connected, but we're going to prove it. So in latte.psd, okay, we are going to just hit Command I, just because it's really bright and obvious. We're going to invert it. So on a PC, it's Control I, okay, and it should just invert it. You can do anything to it. Now, I want you to go File, Save, okay, and leave it open, but I want you to go back to this tab. You can see it's open, updated in the library. Are you ready? Oh, look at that, look at the connection. Think of all the time saving. Okay, lots of logos or icons or anything, just because they're library items, they're all connected, which is super useful. And if you're like, that's pretty good, you wait, I got a finale. That's why I've got Illustrator open. Look, Illustrator updated without me asking, just did it, it's all connected. You're like, that is awesome, Dan, but what happens when I don't want it connected? That's why I hate libraries. And you're like, don't hate libraries, libraries are good. So what you can do is, let's say you want one that's not connected. So I'm going to kind of go back and undo this. Everyone do it. Go back to Latte, go to Undo, Edit Undo, hit Save. So it's back to normal. Looks good. Wait for it to update. Illustrator updated. Cool. Let's say you don't want it connected. So what you do is when you're dragging it out, hold down the Option key on a Mac, the Alt key on a PC. Nothing really changes. I've still got a version that looks the same, but if you've held down that key, the Option on a Mac, Alt on a PC, whilst you've been clicking and holding and dragging, it won't be connected. And I'll prove it to you in a second. Let's drag a couple more out. Let's drag out one more. Where did he end up? The wrong one. Artboards, eh? All right, so you're ready. We're going to open up my library item. Mine's already open, but you can double click it again. It should jump to it. And then you say, all right, now I'm going to do something with adjustments, hue and saturation, and I'm going to oversaturate it, and I'm going to make it a different color. Wow. Okay, let's hit save, and you'll notice some update. The original ones we had, look, updated, updated, updated. But that guy didn't. Why? Because we held the Option key as we dragged it out. So if you don't like that connection, okay, just hold, you like using libraries, but you don't want that connection, just hold down the Option key on a Mac Alt-key on a PC as you drag them out. You can break it afterwards instead of trying to remember, hold down that key. You can say go to these guys. So this one is connected, right? And it is, where is it in my layers panel? It's this one here. You can right click the word, and up here it says, one of them, it says embed linked. Okay, and that will just break the connection. It'll still be a smart object. You can kind of see the icon there, still smart object, but it's not connected to the library anymore. I'm going to undo that. So what are we going to do? We're going to go back, undo that craziness. Okay, we're going to save it, and we are going to go and check all of this. I'm going to delete this giant one that's not connected because that's not what I want. And let's have a look at, delete latte, please. Let's go to our Illustrator file. That was the one. Go one, back to looking tidy. All right, so we used invert and then crazy hue saturation to prove a point. Let's look at it a bit more kind of like how we would do it in terms of workflow, because basically I want to sneak in something called select and mask for you because it's pretty awesome. Because when we did remove background, it did okay. Like, let's have a little zoom on this one, and you can see the edges are fine. It's not quite, you know, like it's pretty amazing. I'm pretty amazed. But you might want the edges to tidy up. So let's look at how to tidy those up. So you kind of made it real rough. Okay, and it's not even that rough. Remove background. Remember we did it with this guy. Okay, but we want to fix it up a little bit. So what we can do is go to our latte. If it's not open, remember, you can open it up in your libraries panel by double clicking it. Let's zoom in together on the kind of top part on the right. Remember Command plus to zoom in, or Control plus on a PC. What we want to do is to fix this edge, we're going to click on the actual mask part of the layer. So not the image. You can see the little box around it. Then we're going to click on this one that says select and mask. If you can't see it, you probably don't have properties panel open. So just open it up here in the window. All right, so select on that, click on select and mask. And this one here is pretty amazing. So it's going to show you this thing against the edge in the background. It's up to you, like up here when it says view, I like to say, actually, let's see it against on white. Or on black. It depends on where yours is going. I think on black gives us a good contrast. On white gives us a better contrast. And here you can drag it right up to 100% to see what it looks like. Cool, so that's not really doing anything. It's just showing you your current mask against a solid white background, which I like. Now, what you need to do is just play around with all these settings. I'm going to tell you the main ones that give you the main results, but basically every selection is different. Okay, I've worked at the ones that work for this particular section, but it's pretty amazing what this does. It's good general controls for everything. So what I'm going to do is drag up the radius to exactly 10, because I've already worked it out. But you're going to drag it up, drag it back, okay, and work out what works for you. I worked out 10, works for me. And you can see instantly the edge. If you're like, I can't see that. You can see up here, if I click on that, show original, that one, I'm going to move it over here so that we can zoom in nice and close. And the editor's not trying to move back and forth. Sorry, Jason. All right, so click on that, before, after. And you can see already it's starting to move the edge. Radius is kind of like instead of being this hard edge, it fuzzies it up a little bit in terms of looking either side for better ways it can work. Now, you can see it says P in there. That's really handy. Instead of going U on, U off using the tick, just tap your P key on and off. See that? Cool shortcut, huh? Okay, so I'm going to put it back on. So make sure that there's nothing ticked in there. So radius 10 is going to work good. I find smooth works good for ragged edge stuff. Doesn't work for this one because it's already pretty smooth. I never use feather, but you might love it. Contrast I never use. Shift edge I use a lot. Okay, so I'm just going to tick it in a little bit. You can see if I go far too far, it kind of removes a lot of the plate, and that might be perfect for you. If I go too far out, it kind of pushes out that way. So I find just kind of in a little bit. And in this case, I just went 20-ish. Okay, so negative 20. Kind of just to tuck it in a bit. Remember the P key? P on, P off. Yeah, like a 10-year-old. So make sure your P is off. And let's go down to like the magic one. So that's some good stuff. And often you can get away with just this. I find under output settings, hidden under here is the magic decontaminate colors. Okay, this thing here is amazing. Let's look at the edges and let's click on it. off, on. Okay, it looks at the kind of colors over here and tries to remove them from the object. So this, I guess it's not super exciting for this latte cup, but imagine if you've got a project where you've got a model in front of a blue background, and you know if when you're trying to mask them, or an object, okay, against the blue background, you know that that blue kind of reaches around to the, and so, you know, reflects around the edges of the subject, and you know, it's really hard to mask because the blue's wrapping around. That is magic, okay, just turns it off. Thing is, once you've done that one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna output to new layer with layer mask. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, and let's click OK, and let's turn P on again. P on, off. Pretty sweet, huh? Let's click OK or hit enter. Okay, so pretty nice. Let's hit save and let's go and check it again. Say the one maybe in Illustrator. That should have some good contrast. Can you see what it's done here? Let's have a zoom. I want to add a drop shadow to it as well, but I'm not going to for the moment. Okay, you can see the colors kind of reaching around the edges. It's looking sweet, looking nice. All right, one thing I want to show you before we go, just because it weirded me out every time I did it when I was kind of learning, at least this new feature, is that you ended up with two versions like this one, and then you ended up with this other version. You're like, okay, it's kind of weird, like the original, and then the one after I did my select and mask. Okay, remember I clicked on the mask and went into here, ended up with two layers. Okay, what is this two-layer business? It's because when I clicked on the one that said decontaminate colors, that did something really strange. Okay, and I'll show you what it is. See, with it off, you can actually just update your mask, but with it on, it forces you to have a new layer and a new mask. Why? Because if you turn this off, okay, so I'm going to disable the layer mask. You ready? Hideous edge. You can see what it kind of does. That's how it gets its lovely, beautiful edge, by decontaminating the colors. It kind of spills this color into the background to get this really nice edge. All you need to know is you haven't done it wrong. You just, that's why they've kept this original, because this one here is so destructive. This original one here, if I do right click it, disable layer mask, it's perfect. There it is. But this other one, not so good. The mask is, the edge is really nice, but the original image gets a bit destroyed. That's why it does a duplicate. Cool. All right, so I'm going to save this one, make sure it's saved, close that one down, and we're going to move on to the next video. Hey there, in this video I'm going to show you how to take all the fonts in this file and update them real quick, real easy, the right colors, the right fonts. We're going to use one of the features called layer filters. All right, let's jump in. All right, so we want to change all the fonts at once. Okay, the way to do it is we're going to use the filters. We looked at artboard earlier, remember? In this one, we're going to pick kind. We're going to say, I want to show only my layers that have the kind with type in it. Cool, huh? Too good. Okay, and you can say, actually, I want all of this. Okay, I'm going to select the first one, hold shift and grab the last one. So they've all selected. And then in my character panel, don't use this character style because it'll work, but everything, I'll show you. Everything's going to be the same size. Okay, it's not what I want. I want it to be specific different sizes. So in here, I'm going to say I would like you to be font. The one we're going to use is what was it called? Kapelka. Okay, if you don't have Kapelka, pick any font you like. Okay, Kapelka you probably have by now because you would have synced it using my sneaky trick earlier when we were opening the Illustrator file. It should be on your machine. You can see all the fonts are Kapelka all at once. Go away. They retain their size. Let's say we want to change all the colors of them as well to match our brand colors. Look at this. Click on vanilla. And they all go our vanilla color. Go away. Now, another thing you might want to do is that I had this kind of like headline font different from the body copy font. So all the bylines that I've written in here, I want it to be a different font. So this thing kind of works. I can hold shift and it's not, or actually I can click the first one, hold command, and I could keep going through. Command on a Mac, control on a PC, and just click them all, but it gets better. So these filters, there's a really nice one in here that says, I want you to find by name. So give me the ones that are all called byline. This only works if you are a layer namer, which you might not be. You might have layer 52, and that's not going to be helpful. 52 copy new. Okay, but I've named all mine, so I can select them all and then go up to here, and I'm going to use another font just for those ones called, can't remember what it's called. It's called Adele or something. Yeah, look, I've written it down. ADLE. lost it again. Come on, brain. There it is, Adele condensed thin. So I'm going to use. Cool, and it goes and updates them all. Even the ones that we kind of came in from the other file, we've updated from bold to thin. And that's how you kind of work with fonts in Photoshop like that. Really wanted to do is show you these cool filters that get ignored. So we're going to go back to kind, turn the type off. So we're back to kind of regular old jumbled up layers. All right, let's get on to the next video. Hey everyone, this video, we are going to change all the brand colors to the really right brand colors all at once. Super easy, one click, and we're going to do it. All right, let's jump in and work out how. All right, so this is just a variation of the updating all the fonts at once trick. Okay, so basically in our filters, we're under kind. One of the options is actually show me all the, what is it called? Path shapes. I want to click on that. Okay, and it's showing me everything that's been drawn. What is it called? Filter for shape layers. Okay, and I've used a shape, this one here. Okay, the rectangle shape to draw all of these green rectangles. So I've clicked on this and it's gone through all my artboards and it's showing everything. I could have searched by colored box as well because I've named all my layers nicely, but I never name my layers nicely. So this is a really handy trick. Kind, click on all the shape layers, select them all. And over here in my libraries, I'm going to say, you're all slate. Holy moly, quick, easy, nice. And because this is a really short video, I've got a bonus. Okay, the bonus is new for Photoshop 2020. Okay, and it is a way to zoom on layers. So you've got loads of artboards everywhere. What you want to do is actually go, let's turn this off first of all. So we've got all our layers. Let's say you're working on Facebook banner B, which is this one here, and you just want to zoom in on the, the word of the byline. If you hold down the Option key on a Mac or Alt key on a PC and click on the name, it just zooms in on that part. Cool, eh? And let's say down here we want to find the T. I don't even know which one it's on. Instagram post A. Okay, holding down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and just click on it, and it zooms in to show you that one. And you can just kind of hold things down, and it zooms to that part of the artboard that it contains it. It's a little hard one to remember. I've written it down next to my notes here or next to my post-its. You can't see them, but I'm using that one I find learning a new shortcut like that, I need to write it down and just kind of use it, force myself to use it for a little while. And if it still doesn't become natural, then it's never meant to be. But often, I don't know, I like this stuff. I like moving fast and being efficient. That's a handy one. Option, click. All right, that's enough. Let's move on to the next video. All right, this video, what we want to do is we want to unpack some of these smart objects or library items. It doesn't matter which. And I want to get them. We know that this item from an earlier tutorial is, if I open it up, it's actually a couple of layers. If I go inside, there's 2 layers. Let's say there's another one I'm going to add just for fun, some curves or levels. Okay, so there's another adjustment layer in there. I'm going to do some fixing for no good reason. Save it, close it. Okay, but back in my artboards here, okay, this file, you can see it's all hidden inside of that. It's really nice, but sometimes you're like, actually come out, just show yourself. I want you in there. What you can do is you can right click the name, and there's this one here, it says convert to layers. Insignificant name, or not very exciting, or I don't know. I find it really useful. Convert to layer just means, hey, the problem is it's going to go back at its like full transformation. It was because it's a big image that we scaled down to the smaller size, and it's going to go, here you go, there's the big quality version that was inside, and that's really helpful. Gives you the full quality one. Let's put it in a nice little group. There's the levels, there's that first layer, another layer. Just a handy quick little trick. Okay, it's a one-way street, so maybe I might want to duplicate that smart object first, and it doesn't matter if it's a smart object or a library object, it doesn't matter. You can right-click it and go to that one there. Frame to layers, convert to layers, and that should work. All right, that's it. Short one, good one. I'll see you in the next video. Hi there, in this video we're going to talk about cloud saving for the new version of Photoshop. So Photoshop 2020 allows you to save directly into the Creative Cloud. Okay, like Dropbox or Google Drive or what's Amazon's one? OneDrive, something like that. Okay, same sort of thing. Okay, why is it good? Okay, because I get a little bit like, oh, can it just be on my computer? And it can. Okay, and you'll notice that if I go File, Save As, I get this thing. You might have already turned yours off. You went, don't show again. Okay, I'm going to show you how to bring it back. But you can say, I want to save it to your computer, like good old days, or save it to the documents. What are the perks for saving it to the document? Cloud, okay? Or the main perk is that it's going to be backed up. Okay, so it's going to be there in the internet. If you ever lose it, your computer gets stolen, okay? And it makes it really easy to share with clients. I'll show you how to do that. So it means that because they're in the cloud, if somebody says, hey Dan, do you have that file? You can open up your Creative Cloud app on your phone and say, yeah, here it is, and share it with them without actually trying to find your laptop, getting back to the office, updating it, that sort of stuff. It has some other perks because it updates, it saves automatically while you're working. And the scary bit that I was like, don't like it in the cloud, there's actually a local copy on your machine as well. Okay, so if the internet dies, unlikely, but if the internet goes away because your modem stops working, there is a local copy. You're not going to be stuck without it. But it's cool because you can open up any machine in the world that has installed Photoshop, log in with your username and password for Adobe, and it will say, hey, do you want to open that cloud file? And you're like, actually, that's kind of cool. So yeah, let's look at doing it. So let's say you've clicked the don't show again button, okay, and you go like, I'm gonna be Luddite and stick it on my computer, and I don't care what you say. And I've saved it here, and course one B, bad Dan. Okay, but let's say that, and then we're gonna go, okay, how do I get it onto the cloud now? Well, file, save as. There's an file, save as. You'll see an option over here. Okay, on a Mac, it says save to cloud documents. I'm not even sure what it looks like on a PC. I'm using like a real beta version. So PC people, you will find it on the screen, no doubt. Okay, so save cloud documents. And the dialogue is a little prettier. That's cool. Okay, so I'm going to save it as social media B. I'm going to hit save. And yeah, magic happens. The cool thing about it is that I've been using this quite a bit now, and it works just fine. Like there's a local copy. Okay, but you can see the icon changes up here, and there's no reason to save. It's constantly saving, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so other than it's backing up, let's have a little look at one of the perks that were like a for instance case. Let's say I log into somebody else's computer. I can install, don't even have to install Photoshop, just the Creative Cloud app. So here it is here. Okay, and on my Mac, it's at the top. It's the little CC Cloud thing there. If you're on a PC, it's in the bottom right. Open that up. And what you'll notice is this has changed quite significantly. It's more of a hub than it was that kind of drop-down panel at the top. So what you can do is apps is kind of how it normally works. You know, you can install Photoshop, that sort of stuff. Go to your work. And this is where you kind of start to see stuff. And we're kind of extending out to showing you what the new Creative Cloud app does as well. Okay, under your work, you can see your libraries. Where's my PPP productivity? There it is. There's all that stuff that was in my library. There it is there. But I could be on any computer. I could be on my phone. And I can do cool stuff like, actually, let's share this with who? I can, if I'm sharing it, can view. This would be, let's look at Kat, add example. Okay, if I send this, let's say Kat's my client, and I'm sending her this stuff just to view. What she can do, she can download it and she can view it. And it's a great way of like distributing files to like, I don't know, if you've ever done branding and you're like, you do the big brand pack and you give them a good workbook and brand guidelines and they never use it. And they're like, can you send me a GIF version? You're like, I can. Can you send me a big version? You're like, yes. Can I have an RGB version? What you can do is just dump all those versions into the library and then give your client access. Let's say that it's not Kat, it is Jane at example.com, and she's your colleague. Okay, what you can do is you can say you can actually edit it, and the difference here is that she gets access to it in her CC libraries. Okay, so both of them get access to it. Kat can just be a person without Photoshop, okay, and she can just look online version. She can be, say my junior designers. Okay, what she will do is it'll appear in her libraries. But because I said view to Kat, she can't add things or delete things. Okay, but Jane, I said you can edit it. She becomes a collaborator. You can see, say Adobe logos. Where's something else? Say Instructor HQ. I've shared this with other people. Okay, that's why it's got the two little heads there. And it means that because there's collaborators with this one, it means other people in my agency, okay, or work, or people I know, they have access to this library and they can go through and delete stuff and add things and remove things. So we can, let's say I end up doing a lot of it. Like I add all the logos to it and I just give it to people to be able to use. So often I'll just give them view access. But if it's another designer and I'm expecting them to add some of the images that we're using, colors that we're designing with, they have edit, so they can add to it. And the first question I always get is like, what happens if they delete it? Say me and Jane, we're meant to be equals, but Jane is hopeless at deleting things. She keeps doing it all the time, drives me mad. The cool thing about it is I looked at this a little bit earlier. You can go in here and say, view the deleted items. Okay, they're always there, okay, in your deleted items bin. So if something disappears and you're like, where did that go? Don't worry, it's all around. Click on that, it launches a website version of it and shows you all the things you can undelete. So what were we doing? We were in here. We got a bit sidetracked, didn't we? Good stuff though. Libraries in the cloud, great. I can use them. I can share them with people. Let's have a look at my work. So I'm going to have a little look at, what would we call that thing? We called it Social Media B, I think we called it. Let's have a little look. There it is, one result. I can click on it and it opens up on a website and I've got this. And the cool thing about that is people can comment on it. I can share it with people. There's a little icon here. I can say share to client and they can add comments, which is really handy. So it does a couple of things, right? It says, all right, let's just be safe and be in the cloud, okay? It also says, using cloud documents says, I can just, I can keep them up there and jump on any computer and start working, okay? And it also means I can start sharing this link with people so they can add comments. It's super handy cloud stuff. I can't see the drawbacks other than like always the things I'm like, oh, what happens if I don't have internet? Okay, so if I close this down now, what will happen is, if I don't have the internet, there's a local copy, which is awesome. Too good. But if I'm connected to the internet, it's always updating and saving without me having to. You can go and just look what's in my cloud documents here. Okay, you can see some of the stuff that I've been practicing with. Okay, and so those are my cloud documents only stuff. I'm going to go to home just to show me everything. My buffalo, bison, whatever he is. All right, that is the why you should or shouldn't be using the save in the cloud stuff. I don't know, what do you think? Maybe use the comments if you're like, still don't like it. You might like it, I don't know. Adobe pushing it, I can't see, seems like only wins and perks, but time will tell. Hey there, in this video, we are going to export like a pro. If you are still using File Save for Web, this video is for you. You're laughing because that's what you do. That's what I did for a long time. I'm going to show you some cool tricks, especially when using lots of artboards. Okay, so exporting all your artboards as a PDF is a super handy thing to do once you've got them all. Maybe it's client sign off or I don't know. There's got to be a reason. File, we're going to go to export and there's an easy one here, artboards to PDF. There's not much to explain in here other than multi-page document or artboards per document. So you want it to be one PDF with lots of different pages with all the different ones that you can see here, or just one PDF per document. Up to you what you want to do there. I'll do a multi-page. Anything else in this one here gets me, export selected artboards. I've clicked on this one, so it's only going to export that. Okay, so turn that off, so I want all of them, not just the one I've got selected. You might like that. You might select 2 or 3 of them and just do those. That's a handy thing. Where is it going to go? It's going to end up by default in this weird thing in Documents, Adobe/Cloud. I'm just going to stick mine on my document. Cloud Associates. I don't know what that means. But let's go to, I'm the tutorial guy. Stick it on my desktop. There's nothing else in that folder, by the way. Anyway, hit run, and I'm going to stick it on my desktop, and you will see it'll flickety flash through all the different bits. And eventually, on my desktop, once it's flickety flashing, I'll speed this up. Artboards were successful. Only took a second. Let's have a look on the desktop. There it is. It's got the name of the Photoshop file, and you can see there's all my pages, all in one tasty little document. Thank you very much. All right. That's an easy one. Let's look at the next one. The next word is going to be packaging. So not a lot of people know you can do this in Photoshop. You can go to File and go to this one called Package. What does this do? It says, well, I'll run through it. Basically it says, where would you like to stick it? I'm going to stick it on the desktop and I'm going to click choose. What it does is it goes through and does a cool thing. It says, all right, I'm going to save the Photoshop document on the desktop as a copy, a second one. It's going to put it into a folder. That's what package does. And inside of here, it's going to do a couple. So there's my PSD and here's all the links. So that one was tied up in my library. So was that one. So was this one. So it's yanked them all out and put them in here. It's just really handy if you're like, hey, if somebody's like, hey, can you send me the files, a client or colleague? And you don't want to use the fancy library stuff, or you can't because of firewalls or something, you can just package it and it will grab all the images that are used in the library and put them all into a nice little file. So when you open this one, it's not going to freak out and say, hey, can't connect to library or anything like that. Okay, so what I tend to do is do that, right click it and go to compress and send them a zip file. Okay, in Dropbox or Creative Cloud. Yeah, just a handy way to package it all. You might have done it through InDesign. Normally it's done in that one. You can package in Illustrator as well. People don't know you can do that. Anyway, let's look at exporting JPEGs. Because really, if I'm going out to social media here, I need this to be all JPEGs. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Export, and you're not allowed to click on this one. We love it. Good old friendly this guy. We're going to use Export As, okay? And Export As is just a better version. I'll show you why. If you're like, defending, got your dukes up, defending Save for Web. Save for Web's fine. The cool thing about Save As is you can see over here all my artboards. Save for Web just freaks out when it's got artboards. It doesn't know what to do. So here you can see, look, all my different artboards, and I can export just the ones I want, turn some off. And what I find really useful is grabbing the top one, holding Shift, grab the last one, and say you're all JPEGs. You can see they all update. Watch the numbers update as I go down. And nobody uses 100%. I'm gonna go 80. 80 is a good one. File sizes drop off dramatically and it still looks really good. You might even go to, you might be a 60 person. That's fine too. But you can select them all, do them all. So that's really handy. Another handy thing you can do in here is you can go in and say, actually, I want different sizes of all of these. So you might be designing for high definition or 2x, or you might be doing app design where you're designing 4 times the size. This can be really handy. So say I've got all these guys, so it's just going to export the size that I made them at, these say 2000 wide. What I can say is actually give me another one. Give me another one that's half the size if you're designing double the size you need, and we'll cut it down. Okay, or you can say actually give it to me twice the size or 3 times the size. You understand what's going on there. It's just really handy. Another thing you can do is, let's say I want this one here, just this guy, and say you designed it for 2000, but you want it to be some weird number like, I don't know, 997. Okay, so this kind of 2x is not going to work. What you can do is you can actually say, instead of just exporting it this, you can say export it at, what did I say, 998? Okay, what it'll do is export it at that exact size that you've said. Okay, it gets around the whole, actually let's export all these. Oh, another thing I want to do before I come out of here and show you what that does is 2up. This is new. You know, if you use Save for Web, it's been around for ages, but it's just been added to Export As. You can make it bigger and you can say 2up. So it shows you the kind of like as it started quality. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, this is the original and that's the new one. No, that's the original and that's what I'm changing it to. So 2up can be handy if you're deciding like, how low can I go? 20? It's too low. Have a look. It's hard to see on video, but it's pretty pixelated. Zoomity zoom. Go. All right, so let's say we do this. Let's export them. What is it going to do? I'll put it onto my desktop. Okay, and I'm just going to dump it. Let's just dump it straight on the desktop to see what happens. I want to kind of double back to like, remember we changed this file size from 2000 to 998? Okay, because you want to design really big, but you need to export it as. It stops you from doing the, now mine's taking a little while. It's because my poor machine's trying to record videos and do stuff. So yeah, let's check it out on the desktop first. Okay, you can see here's all the files. Okay, I said these are the new ones. So there's all the names of the artboards. And you can see I made one the regular size and I made one that's at ×2. So double the size. Okay, you can see big, and this one here is smaller. Can't really tell because it's previewing the same size, but this one's double the pixels than this one. Okay, so handy. The other thing that I was talking about, remember, it's to get around this, right? You design something and you go File, Image, Image Size. And you go down here and you say, actually, I want it to be pixels, and it's not going to be this. It's going to be. So you do that, right? You go, I want it to be 800, or what was it? 899, and then you hit OK. You export it, and then you quickly hit undo because you're like, actually, I didn't want that size. That gets around it by going the File, Export as. And I can change it here without actually changing the original. Okay, it's just kind of like on the fly as it's being exported rather than doing that funny undo, change the size thing. All right, that is export as. Anything else for export as? I'm pretty sure that is all the good stuff. One thing I will show you though is exporting one layer at a time, because sometimes you're like, actually I don't want all 6 of these in all the different sizes. What you can do is you can find the artboard you like. Say I want to collapse them all because they're all everywhere. Who remembers the shortcut? Get your hand up. You, I pick you. I pick me. Hold down, what was it? Command and click this, or Control on a PC. Close them all up, super handy. And let's say I just want Instagram post B. Okay, I can just right click it and say export as, and it just exports that one particular artboard, okay, at a time. Super helpful. You can also even go faster by going export as a PNG, and then you don't get all the in-between stuff. You can say just stick it onto my desktop, please. There you go. And you can kind of make it shorter. But let's say you don't want a PDF, you can go into your preferences and say change export from the default one. Because I never use the PNG one. I always go through and change it to JPEG. My world is more JPEGs than it is PNGs. So you can go into here, export, guessing where this is. You can see quick export as a JPEG, and it's going to be, I don't know, you're a 70 person, okay? You just pick that, and now whenever I go into here, I go, all right, I want this export, I want the second one, okay? I'm going to go to export as JPEG, and then I don't have to go through and change it. That can be one of the problems using any of the export as or save for web. You know, it never seems to remember properly like your things you like. Okay, like the you know, the quality 80%, 60%. I'm rambling in this one a little bit, but that is some pro tips for exporting stuff. We exported the whole thing as a PDF. Okay, then we exported them all using export as, no more save for web. And then we started looking at doing it. Oh, one last thing. If you hung around for the outro, you get a bonus. Because we exported the whole artboard, but let's say we just want this latte here. Okay, or let's do this one here because it's kind of cropped. So I can right click just this one and say export as. Now I want a, now I want a PNG. Anyway, so you can just right click the layer, not the whole artboard. You can see it's used the name of the layer, which is cool. Good naming practice. You're probably going to say layer 57. I'm going to stick it on my desktop, hit save, and let's have a look. Where's my latte? There he is there. All cropped and nice. What a PNG, of course. All right, that is the end, the true end, and I will see you in the next video. All right, in this video, we're going to use a mixture of a template that's been laid out with smart objects. Okay, so we update the smart object and we update one little thing. Watch the logos. Look, all the logos updated all at once. Hey, saving us time. I'm trying to think of anything else that saves us. Nope, just time, not money. Okay, but it's a quick and easy way to kind of do your own mockups and use smart objects so that you can redo it again next time easily. Or I'm going to show you in this one where to get some of these templates that are ready to go. That will save you time, but no money. All right, it's our final video in the series. I hope you enjoy. All right, to get started, go to File, Open, and there's one called mockup.psd in your exercise files. It looks like this. Okay, now the cool thing about the templates, I'll show you where to get them from, but this one's been created where that logo is a smart object. It could be a cloud library object. Okay, we've used smart objects in this case because you don't have my connection to my library, but they work the same sort of way. Remember our latte earlier when we updated one of them, they all updated? There are lots of templates out there ready to go like this. So let's start with the image. Let's double click the actual icon, not the image name. Okay, so click in here, the little thumbnail. It opens up in another tab. okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to my library of core productivity. I'm gonna grab my T, I'm gonna drag it out, okay? And I'm gonna make it nice and big, not holding shift, just make it big. One trick-ish, is if you have it kind of where you want it, hold down the Option key, okay? On a Mac, Alt key on a PC, that's it. And it just drags from the center, it kind of goes out both ways. Anyway, get it somewhere in there. That's what I'm gonna do. Hit Enter on my keyboard, hit Save. I'm gonna hit Close. And you can see that smart object was used a couple of times, okay, like the latte. So you can see how you can do some really cool stuff when you update one thing, it updates across a couple. Gets even better with a logo. Open that up by double clicking it. Eventually it's gonna open up in Illustrator. Yours is probably still open from earlier, mine's not. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this logo, delete it, grab my new kind of like logo slate, stick it in the middle here, okay, hit Save, go back to Photoshop. You ready? Steady. It's the finale for the course as well. I should have mentioned that. It's gonna end soon. You ready? Hey, look at that. If you're ever working somewhere where you've got to do things like this, mock things up, spend the time, do it once with smart objects or library objects, bend them around, you can twist them, you can scale them, you can color them. And then when all you need to do is update that smart object and they all update at once. Now you can see the benefits of using these kind of smart objects and or library items and updating them all at once, kind of to use them in mockups. Now what I'd like to show you is where to get them from. So lots of places supply them. Probably the best is Adobe's own one. Okay, so up here in the libraries panel, there is an option to say, drop this down. So there's a little chevron here. I can say search in Adobe stock. Okay, and up here I can do a search. I can say, let's look at, I don't know, let's look at stationery mockup. Let's see what comes up. You can see all of this good stuff, okay? Now you need a subscription to be part of this, okay? I pay, what do I pay? About $40. It goes down to like $5, I think it's the minimum per month. And this is Australian dollars, so I don't know what that's in US. It's probably not quite half. So you can see here loads of good stuff. I like to use the website probably better. So let's have a look. See stock.adobe.com, you can say switch to templates, and you can say packaging. Let's say you want to mock up, ooh, spelled badly. Got me there? Okay, so you can see in here, say you want, say this one here, all of these little icons here will be smart objects. Okay, and you'll have to update one of them and it'll update across all of them. Super cool. Just make sure you're using templates, okay? And have a little read through what it explains. This one here is in French. So loads of cool stuff just to save you time. Like I've done it loads of times where it's like, actually, do I really want to spend ages like mocking something up that's just a quick like demo for the client? Okay, there's web stuff and doesn't have to be packaging. But yeah, those templates you can use, you can make your own. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. All right, we're at the end. I hope you liked it, and I really hope you, got some value out of it. You know, some tips and tricks to speed up your life and productivity hacks, all those buzzwords. But if you did like it and you want to carry on to something else, you might check out my Photoshop Essentials or Photoshop Advanced course. There'll be a link in the description. Give us a like as well. It kind of helps me share this good stuff around, and you might consider subscribing to my channel. Hit that button. All right, but that's it for now. Goodbye. See you later.